Bad date stories are always good for a laugh, and it almost feels like it's a rite of passage. But bad doctor appointments, not so much. Whether it's a doctor who rushed your appointment, belittled your symptoms, or hit you with a surprise bill, you shouldn't have to settle for mediocre care. But now, thanks to ZocDoc, you don't have to. You've got options. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors and click instantly to book an appointment. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, and are a good fit for any medical need you have. And appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/female to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/female. ZocDoc.com/female.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 17, Episode 2, titled Drag Talent Show. No, it's not. Drag Queens Got Talent, Part 2. My name's Joe Batanz, and I am joined, as always, by one deleterious co-host from the podcast Bravo, Bravo, effing Bravo. Please say...
It's a battle of the white girls.
To Mr. Nathan Patrick Brown. Hello, Nathan.
Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Nathan's being funny because we can't. There's a new thing where we can't play the clip 0 because it all comes on one channel and it's under the. It's guys. It's hard to explain. So I just put it in post. I think actually last week Patreon didn't get clip 0 because I forgot. I remember for public feed. I think. Anyway, I'm doing very well, Nathan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. Watching this episode, you know, guys, we already recorded our award winning. In fact, I think it's already. In fact, I know it's already released. Of Just Between Us Goyles. It used to come out after the main show, but now it comes out before, which makes chronological sense.
It does make sense, yeah.
It does make chronological sense that you hear what we chatted about before the show, and then hear about everything after. You know what's so funny, Nathan? Is we did this Just Between Us girls, and I thought about three topics that we could have talked about on just Between Us girls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know. Look, you know what? Let me not do this now. I'll tell you why. We're gonna read an email that I got. In fact, I should pull that email up. Okay, I got an email, and. Okay, so let me tip my hand a little bit to everybody. This new truncated version of the show is new for us too, and how we maneuver that and finagle that, and it's a work in progress as we learn how to do what we do. And so last week, as we recorded the show, I didn't really have a handle on how we were going to do it. I have a better sense now, and it'll get more finessed over the weeks, you know. And it'll get better. Actually, for the public feed, it'll get better for you. But intentionally, and Nathan knows this, I was doing a lot of bullshit at the top because I didn't know. I wanted to give you guys a 45-minute show, but I didn't know how I was going to do it and still truncate. And I didn't know how long we were going to go or anything. So there was a lot of bullshit up top. Okay?
I just thought you were more interested in my opinions and wanting to have a chat. So that was Vandal?
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, we just talked about non-related show stuff. So let me read this email I got. Let me read this email I got. Okay. But so this person wrote to me. I'm not going to say who it is. But this is what the email says. All right. And she's doing a little take on the Nancy Pelosi marching in and saying, I would usually say good morning, but it's not whatever. You sent me, right? So she says, usually I would say good morning, but I can't because you have me stressed out, LOL. Okay, first things first. I know I may be the only person who cares about this, but it has to be said. I don't have a lot of friends that watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and so I really find comfort in podcast and Reddit. That being said, it is odd and weird how this podcast did the first episode of this season. One, I understand wanting to make money, but come on, what was the point of even making the episode to talk about the show for 7 minutes? Two, why not make Untucked or Rulaska Thoughts paid? Three, not all listeners have tons of extra income. It felt elitist to pretend you were going to do an episode and waste our time. 4, you could have at least talked about the runways. 5, I love how petty Joe with the songs and jokes, but nothing in this episode made me want to join Patreon. So I wrote back to this person. I wrote a very nice email, but what is your response? It was very. I'll read it in a second. But what is your response, Nathan? And don't be a Lori, and don't be like go fuck yourself or anything like that. That's not what I did, and that wasn't the position. That wasn't the position I took.
Well, I haven't listened to what the main show ended up sounding like for the free feed, so I can't comment to what was picked and what was not picked to be in it. But a part of me is sort of like. If you don't want to pay for Patreon, don't. You know, like if you don't, what do you want me to do here, doll?
So I didn't realize this till after we recorded the episode, but I realized the way to do this was we'll talk about the show up front, and then we will, like what we did last week, but then the middle, so we don't have to vamp as much. We'll fill out the time with sort of the greatest hits. No. I'm going to talk about this in a second. Not the greatest hits. The B tier hits from the episode, the recap episode. And then we'll do the conclusion. So you'll get a very good taste of the episode. Okay. So let me read you what I wrote. I might stop along the way and say what I said. So I wrote, hey, thanks for writing. So you make some interesting points and let me address them. 1, I released a solo show that explains why this is happening, but essentially it doesn't make financial sense right now to release the full episode on the public feed. The ad market in podcasts is bone dry. So the public feed is getting few, if any, ads. And the schedule is such that there isn't really much difference in the time that the show drops on Patreon and the public feed. So the problem is twofold. First, I would essentially be posting the show for free, and this is ultimately a business. 2, the perceived value for the people that do pay would be so diminished that the ones who pay may think, well, the public feed has no ads and basically comes out at the same time. Why not just listen for free? Okay. 1. 2, I'm addressing her second point here. Her second point was, why not make Untucked or Rulaska Thoughts paid? I know we talked about the show for longer than, I don't know where the 7 minutes came in. I know we talked about the show for longer than 7 minutes. Right now, there is this opening banter. You got then an extended discussion about the episode as a whole. There was a whole segment that included some clips from the entire show, and then it ended with a final wrap-up. 3, okay, just want to say, I don't know what Untucked is in terms of our podcast, but the fact that you want to make Rulaska Thoughts paid and not the recap shows exactly why it should be as the one that's for sale. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like if you're saying, oh, why not make Rulaska Thoughts paid? Then you're making me think, well, that's the one that should be free. If you're saying that one should be paid because you don't want to hear that, that means, well, then, yeah. Next, yes, it is sad that people don't have extra income. I don't have extra income. That's why I have to do what I'm doing. I'm in the same boat, and that's why we did this. I've been talking about this for months, but you don't ask how other artists, to give their stuff out for free. You don't say, Taylor Swift, why are you charging money for your concerts? You know?
And she bleeds me dry as a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Like, I have given her so much fucking money, and she doesn't need it, but I still do it.
RuPaul's Drag Race isn't free, I pointed out. It requires a subscription, okay? 4, again, you're saying the quiet part out loud. When you say that I could have put the runways shows why I shouldn't have put the runways. Also, and I haven't talked about this. Someone from the public feed wrote in and said that they hate Mr. Blackstone So I was like, well, if they don't like Mr. Blackstone, then easy fix. Don't put it in the public feed, you know? And then I'm sorry you can't join Patreon, but these truncated shows are a work in progress, and we will work harder to find the right balance. Thanks for writing in. Now, I will say to her credit, she was totally kind when she wrote back. She responded. She didn't say anything super special, but she did point out that she's a single mother of 2 kids. She doesn't have extra income, but that she's going to try and find it, right? And here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. Person, you know who you are. I hope you have not signed up yet, okay? I hope you have not signed up. If you have not signed up, because this has nothing to do with me being a dick. It has to do with what Patreon will let me do and not do. If you have not signed up, email me, and I will send you, out of my pocket, 2 free months of executive tier.
Whoa.
2 free months on me. Yeah, 2 free months of executive tier on me.
Does that mean everyone should email you?
No. 2 free months of executive tier on me. Thank you for writing in. There we go. Everything else good with you, Nathan?
Yeah. And I would encourage everyone to write in if they have something they want to get off their chest.
Okay, well, you better do some very good shit. So yes, please support the show. You're getting this past week was so fucking good. There was depending on what level you were, there was a brand new show out every day of the week. And it's going to continue that way, despite the fact that I have a second job. So here's what I need you guys to do. Go to patreon.com. And by the way, last week's first episode was fucking worth it. Go to and you get it early, ad-free. It's great. Patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. I'll put that offer code. I think the offer code is still good. No, I don't think it is. But I'll put a new offer code. It'll be in this show.
Yeah.
And join with the offer code, take advantage of the offer code, and it'll all be good. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break, and when we come back, we are actually going to talk, Nathan, about the episode. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back. All right. This week, the 7 remaining queens perform in the talent show after the non-performing queens rate the other queens in the talent show. Lexi Love and Crystal Envy are named the top 2 queens of the week and face off in a lip-sync battle for the win. After all was sung and done, Lexi Love was named the winner of this week's challenge. As for the bottom 2, Hormona Lisa was named the bottom queen of the week and forced to face off in a lip-sync against episode 1 bottom queen, Acacia Forgot. In the end, Acacia Forgot was told, Shantae, you stay, while Hormona Lisa was asked to sashay away, but in a twist for the season, Hormona Lisa won another chance in the competition and lived to see another day. Nathan, Patrick Brown, we got a lot of questions for you today. Were the right top 2 queens in the top? Were the right 2 queens in the bottom? Did the right queen win the challenge? Did the right queen lose the challenge? And what did you think of that twist at the end? Let's go one by one. Nathan, Patrick Brown were the right top 2 queens in the top.
I don't think so. I think Lexi should have been there. I was happy with Lexi. Sure. I thought the other one was more middle of the road. For my personal tastes, I would have preferred Corey King to be in the top for some reason. Not that any of the fucking talent shows were that good, but I liked her energy. But I was ultimately quite happy with that lip sync. I thought that was fun. The other lip sync, not so much.
Well, we're not there yet. Please answer the questions.
You did ask 8, so what's the next one?
Yeah, I'm going one by one. Look, ultimately, Lexi Love should have been there, but I'm ambivalent about who should have been the second one. You know, I already told Robert for Rulaska Thoughts tomorrow. A discussion topic was a Reddit post I saw. I guess the Reddit post was referencing other Reddit comments about how no one's really connecting to the queens this season.
Okay.
And then the reasons why they think that is. And I have thoughts on that, and that'll be on Rulaska Thoughts, which is available completely on the public feed, much to this writer's chagrin. But I'm ambivalent. But yeah, Lexi Love should have been there. What about the right two queens? Were the right two queens in the bottom? I mean, Acacia Forgot and Hormona Lisa.
Yeah, I thought Hormona was the worst. And yes, she did something different, but I'm sick of like giving someone a pass for doing something different.
Well, if you do something different and you're shitty, like she was obviously shitty.
That's the thing. Yeah. Lexi did roller skates, which was different, but it was super fun. Hormona did stand up. Well, I suppose we'll talk about this later, but I don't even think it was stand up. It was more just like her drag race set, like just like a hosting gig set, right?
Oh, I forgot something. Yeah.
And I thought their lip sync was not as fun to watch.
We're not
as
at the lip sync yet.
That's right.
Did the right queen win the challenge? Like, in other words, who won that lip sync between the top two?
Lexi.
And you agree with that?
Well, yeah, I do. I thought it was. Am I allowed to talk about the lip sync?
Yeah, this is the lip sync part.
Oh, okay. I thought it was pretty evenly matched, honestly, but Lexi had that little extra zhuzh to it, which I think I enjoyed. And so I can see why you'd give it to Lexi.
I agree with you. I thought they really captured the essence of the song quite well. Even though I do agree that it did seem like two white girls rapping, but whatever. Did the right queen go home on that lip sync?
I'd say yes. I didn't like this lip sync. I don't think Acacia, what she did with the makeup brush in her butt cheek, like I don't think that was that special. I actually found it a little bit like ugh. But at least it was a little bit something more. And because she gave more, then I can see why Hormona should have gone.
The correct answer is they were both horrible. This is a horrible lip sync.
Well, yeah.
And wasn't there someone last season or All Stars in one of the seasons I was on where they did a shitty lip sync too, but because they went through, they thought that they did really well. I don't remember who it was.
Oh, that's every season.
Yeah, and I was like, no, Mom. But it does remind me of this. Who was that horrible? Deja Sky. Remember she thought she was a lip sync assassin?
Yeah, and she thought her snatch game was so fucking funny.
Yeah, and it was like, girl, you were on. Yeah.
This Acacia, sorry, I can't say her name. I was so disappointed just knowing that she had like an extra week to prepare or, like 2 days to prepare. She knew she was going to be lip syncing that night. And I'm like, and that's still what you wore? Like you didn't have like a reveal planned underneath? Like sacrifice the runway category. You're already in the bottom and wear something that will be a lot more fun for us to watch in a lip sync. Give yourself an edge. And I'm not talking about
do a good
makeup brush.
You had a week to practice in your room. And then what did you think of that Badonka Dunk Michelle Visage challenge? That twist.
Okay, so when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is fun. I want to see Michelle get dunked. And I was like, well, obviously it's going to be rigged. But I was like, well, obviously they're not going to say fucking Hormona. And then when she dunked Michelle and she's going to be here for another week, I was pretty let down by that, honestly. I was like, if you're going to rig
How are you surprised? It's so surprised. It's not surprising. First of all, they said two people, right? There'll be two of them. You're like, oh, it has to be the first one because you have to get the instant gratification for a challenge like this. You can't, because next week and the next few weeks or however until they use the other one, it's going to be like Michelle goes like, it's chocolate, So like they need to give you some excitement to watch Michelle fall in the dunk tank on the first one. This is so fucking rigged. Everybody knows it. I don't think I'm revealing anything. I think anybody with half a brain cell knows that it was rigged.
Of course.
And she could have pulled any lever and Michelle would have been dunked.
Well, yes, because I don't know how the mechanism would have worked. Like, I didn't see a fucking cable running towards that dunk tank.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how anyone would have rigged that up. So yeah, it was rigged. But I just don't like how it was last week where it was like, and someone will be going home. And they make a big deal now. They're like, we're not just going to have non-elimination. Someone's going home. Well, guess what, Mimi? No one went home.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. Well, okay, so this is the part, and I want the public feed to understand this. We are going to kind of leave you. What you're going to hear after the tone is some of the... Oh, I didn't explain why I'm not doing A tier, S tier stuff, right? On the curated stuff. Let me explain it here. I just know personally as a consumer, if they were like, oh, here's a truncated version of the show with some greatest hits in the middle, and then I went and paid money for the Patreon, and those were actually the best parts and everything else was mediocre, I would be so pissed and not sign up again. So the promise I make to you is the clips you're going to hear is what I consider to be like B tier, maybe some A tier, right? But any S or A tier, you're not going to get that. And it's not for me being a dick. It's so that for the people who do sign up, they like the fireworks rant last week. Chef's kiss, right? Didn't make it into the public feed one, right? You got like B tier, nothing lower than B. Nothing lower than B. I'll promise that. Nothing lower than B, but the B tier stuff. That way, when you sign up for Patreon, you're going to get top tier, A tier, S tier rants and funny bits and stuff like that. I listened to Mr. Blackstone's looks this week. Girl, he has a major fucking problem. Like
He's
it's
horrible.
almost it's offensive. It's awful. So
but he has such a good
gonna,
turn of phrase, though.
He really does. So, okay, so public feed. This is where we leave you. Look for that offer code. Go to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Guys, everyone's doing it. It's fun. Join. You're going to get some good content. Here we go. See you in a little bit. So here's the thing. And this is going to be further discussed in detail on Rulaska Thoughts. Just more because I haven't really organized my thoughts. Not because I'm holding anything back. I just haven't totally wrapped my brain around this or organized my thoughts on this. But this moment and this conversation this is what sparked my thinking we should talk about this on Rulaska Thoughts and everything was it seemed really hollow. It seemed really, really them trying to make a moment, them being very aware they're on television, them trying to be a meme, them trying to make a viral video. Like they're trying to be, they're not real people. They're not acting like real people. They're acting like these ciphers who are like AI doing an AI generated script about RuPaul's Drag Race. It was very odd, and I think it's part of the reason why I have trouble connecting to these people as characters or as people. And I think this scene, this moment was emblematic of that. Go ahead and weigh in on this, Nathan. You're agreeing.
Yeah, it read false to me, the whole premise being like, I'm coming over for more purple paint. Because it's like, you're painting your whole fucking body purple. Why didn't you pack more purple? And like, of course you're going to run out of purple if you're painting it everywhere. And like, I was just like, this is just a easy segue to come over, but there was no payoff.
But we've seen moments like this before in the workroom, and maybe there've been other ones that seem just as artificial, but this one did not seem organic.
There's never been an organic
any way
moment
whatsoever
in this entire goddamn series. What are you guys talking about? It's all truncated.
Well, I think there's genuine good moments.
Show, Lori? Why did you want to come on the show today?
Just for this moment. No, I'm serious. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, what are you looking for? Are you looking for like?
No, and I don't think that's true. I think definitely, look, there's been like diminishing returns on the authenticity or verisimilitude of the moments. But I would say even as you go through season 10 or 11, we'll stop there. There were moments in the workroom that seemed real, you know, that like even if they were manipulated by producers, the producers manipulated real emotions out of these people, you know. So, but this just seemed like, and it's been like this for a few seasons, but this is to me like the nadir of authenticity on this show, which is like, it didn't even seem like, sometimes you have these moments where you could tell the drag queen has been like prompted by the producer to say something. But then a real moment comes out of that. This was just these queens decided we're going to make a moment, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I just don't see it as like a bad thing. I also think it's episode 2, so they're just kind of, like you were saying, they're just feeling each other out. So there's not going to be a lot of genuine moments because they don't really know each other.
So then there's a part where Acacia is kind of coming for Hormona, like, I'm going to vote for you, kind of want to lip sync against you because you suck at lip syncing. And Hormona gets all fucking weird. Look, I'm going to say something right here. I said this before, but I think about someone last season, though, the super white weird looking one that like Broadway.
Which one?
What was her name? I don't know what she did. She did the Barbara Streisand whole video.
Oh,
and everything. Anyway,
Plasma.
Thank you. And I'm gonna say the same thing here that about Hormona Lisa. I hate to say it. I think I would have had a lot of fun bullying Hormona Lisa in high school.
Oh, totally.
I'll say this. I think Hormona Lisa was a bully in high school.
Oh, 100%. The bullies, the ones who are bullied usually become bullies. And the reason I say this is the way she's like, what a weirdo logic. Because I think, again, the way that Deja Skye thought she was like a Snatch Game master and like untouchable and lip syncs. It's the same thing because, look, RuPaul is very savvy, especially in terms of publicity and whatnot. And she's in the moment and they're at a book thing. And she's like, oh, this would be so gaggy, viral video wise, if I just put this person on the show. Mm-hmm. Right. And Hormona Lisa thinks that she was crowned right there or something like that. And she's like, you better not vote against me because then you're going against RuPaul who handpicked me.
But, like, the theory is that Ru picks all of those queens. So it really makes no fucking difference. And also, each year, he picks people knowing that some of them are going to go home early. Like, he doesn't pick the top 14 queens in the fucking country. No. He picks some being like, oh, she's a bit of a booger. She's not ready yet. Let's pop her on. And she can be a sacrificial lamb for the first few episodes.
Look, I'm not going to even weigh in on that. What I'm going to say, though, is I'm not even saying that RuPaul really handpicks them. But I will say that RuPaul in interview says she handpicks them. So if you're going with that, then she Look, this is what I think. I think that the casting people come up with like 20. And then RuPaul's in one meeting for 20 minutes where she comes down to the 14 and goes, yeah, get rid of these 6. Well, now let's move on to the next part. It's time for the looks, where the theme was, is it cake? Before we go to Mr. Blackstone, who's going to talk, I'll tell you who he's talking about. He's talking about Crystal Envy, Lexi Love, and Hormona Lisa. Did you have any big thoughts on any of the looks, Nathan? Like anyone you want to talk about? Mr. Blackstone only did 3.
Okay, well, I just want to talk about Michelle Visage and this Mary Antoinette vendetta that she has. Like, bitch,
that's going to come up during Hormona Lisa.
Over it.
What's going to come up during Hormona Lisa? Any of the other looks?
I really like Sam Stars. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Lori?
Oh, and Susie too with the donkey. Get over it. Like, not everything needs to be a pun. Not everything needs to be like a fun, unique take. Just give me just show your butt. Don't actually dress up as an ass.
Yeah.
So
Lori?
they all agreed ahead of time to show their butts. That was the thing. That
was the theme, Lori. Is it cake? But cake being a euphemism for ass.
Okay. So I totally missed that. Acacia forgot that. Keisha forgot that.
It wasn't obvious, I don't think.
So I picked it up like third person down. That was like, oh, they're showing their butts. But no thoughts.
There are people who signed up for Patreon to hear this. All right, let's go to Mr. Blackstone only does the tops and bottoms, and this week, like last week, is a little weird in that there's only really 1 bottom and 2 tops, or as Nathan calls it, the weekend. So let's go first. Mr. Blackstone only has 3. I've heard them already, and he's kind of wild on this one. Here we go.
Darling, Crystal Envy gave us Coppertone realness, but more like copper tired. The metallic blue bikini barely holds together her airbrushed fantasy of abs, looking less like Hercules and more like Joe sitting in his desk chair with his disgusting rolls of fat drooping down.
Wait, what? Why am I catching strays? That's what I'm just sitting here, literally. And I'm like, even going like,
he hates you.
He doesn't like me.
It's become an ever-growing hatred. I feel like it started as an annoyance, and now he full-on hates you.
And I'm the one paying his bills.
Dog pulling her bottoms. Even he seems over it. Gives a whole new meaning to the word fetch. More like fetch yourself a better concept, faggot.
What is wrong with him?
He's angry.
He has a lot of problems, man. I'm not even being funny. What did you think of this look by Crystal Envy, Nathan?
I didn't like it. I do think it was a bit too much. Like, you're going to do the dog biting off your bikini, but then why also the tanned and the muscle suit? It just looked a bit shit.
Lori?
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was good. I thought it was okay.
I thought it was an original idea. Nathan, do you have a connection to that Coppertone ad? Did they make it all the way down to Australia?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. So there was a famous ad. It was around for a long time. Honestly, it's like a little girl,
Jodie Foster.
isn't it?
She was one of the Coppertone babies.
In the ad, the little dog's pulling on the babies. Like,
yeah,
but
it's like
and
a
you see the tan
toddler,
line and stuff like that.
And she's not wearing a top.
Lori tries to ring in any lesbian any chance she gets.
Seriously, that was a Jodie Foster deep cut.
No,
I was like,
what are you going to go shoot the president to impress her?
I only know.
Yeah.
No, he's already gone.
Lori could smell her cunt.
No, I only know this because we were talking about it a couple months ago when I was visiting my grandfather, and
how did Jodie Foster come up with your grandfather?
We were talking about baby sunscreen, and I was trying to figure out the name of.
Wait, by the way, people should know that Lori's grandfather has passed away in the past week or so.
Last.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. He was old. He was 91. So we were talking about, and I was describing the ad, and I was like, what's the name of that company? And then my mom looked it up, and then she saw the Wikipedia, and on the Wikipedia it says Jodie Foster was one of the Coppertone babies. So that's how I know.
And what'd your grandpa say?
He was
help.
He was.
Lori and her mom are just looking up Wikipedia like, I can't breathe.
No, he was in the pool. He was fine. He was going.
Yeah.
No, he was. No, he. I don't even think he was in the room with us. I think he was outside, banging on the door, trying to get in. we were like, all right, calm down.
All right, here we go. Next one, Lexi Love. Here we go.
Lexi Love strutted out as a Technicolor TV set. But honey, this was not prime time. It was a bad cable rerun. The sculpted corset and neon stripes gave me Pee-wee's Playhouse meets Tron. But
I could kind of see that.
Static on her screen was the real star of the show. I love this look so much that just like Pee-wee, I was stroking my dick in a seedy porn theater.
Okay. Why does he admit to these things? Like, didn't he admit to going to Bryan Singer's house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like
he's a maniac.
Needs to go camping.
Yeah.
And when she turned to reveal that pixelated derriere, let's just say the reception was clearer than the concept.
Oh, all right.
It didn't end on it.
Again, a great turn of phrase.
Like a sort of like good turn of phrase. All right, Nathan, any big thoughts there?
Hateful note.
Well, I really liked the TV thing, but it was when I first thought that they were meant to be cakes. I was like, she's not a fucking cake. This is shit. But now looking back on it, I quite like it.
I think it's supposed to be a little heady. It's a show called talking about a television show called Is It Cake? So it's about cake being on television. So now it's television. The cake is on television. Isn't that kind of what the thread is there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What did you think,
I
Lori?
liked it.
All right, there you go. All right, finally we have Hormona Lisa. Here we go.
Oh, sweet Hormona Lisa served us yet another Marie Antoinette. Because that guillotine hasn't been overused. Am I right, ladies?
What? Is he like a night? Is he Jackie Marischek from 1986 at the Comedy Store? Lori, is he right?
Yeah, he's right. The guillotine's been overused.
Okay. Style Rococo Fantasy was fine, But when she turned to reveal those frosted buns, the judges were already rolling their eyes harder than Marie Antoinette's head rolled out the door.
What the?
Darling, if you're going to let them eat cake, at least make it fresh, cunt.
Jesus.
What is wrong with him?
And yet he speaks the truth.
Yeah, he doesn't tell a lie.
It wasn't the best Marie Antoinette look we've ever had, but I don't care if someone wears a Marie Antoinette look. Michelle needs to get over herself.
Here's the deal. I'm kind of with you. It was a horrible. It didn't look good. It was very basic. You know, that again comes with the problem of just randomly selecting a contestant from the audience of your book signing. Okay, they're not going to have the money or access to designers that more established queens or more well-connected queens will have. But it was very, very basic on the nose. It was very on the nose. That said, Michelle, you motherfuckers choose the category. And if you choose a category like, is it cake? And we don't know what cake thing, it might have been, maybe the name of the challenge was let them eat cake or something like that, right? Or who knows, right? You're going to get Marie Antoinette things. If you have something with, it's just, you're going to have some on the nose bitches who do. By the way, this Michelle Visage is so on the fucking nose. It's about everything. And she's like, can we have enough with the Marie Antoinette? You know? And I'm like, so done. What did you think of this, Lori?
Whenever someone wears green and she raises her eyebrow, and I'm like, the queens aren't there for you.
Yeah, it's not called Michelle Visage's Drag Race.
Except for Down Under.
Let's talk about this Hormona Lisa. Let's let an amateur talk first. Lori, what did you think of Hormona? Nathan, what did you think of Hormona Lisa?
Where are the jokes? Like, girl, find the joke, find the joke. It was bad.
Do you have any thoughts that aren't a quote from RuPaul's Drag Race? I like how he's like, I can't find the joke. Let me do old jokes from RuPaul's Drag Race. So you don't know. Okay, so you don't know. Okay, Lori, what were your thoughts here?
So
Nathan's like mad. Oh, Nathan's pissed. Nathan just walked off the show. Go ahead, Lori.
So the reason why I think she took a class was she clearly was doing a very.
Wait, yes, right. Okay, you're referencing the fact that you said you think Hormona Lisa took a
comedy class. She's doing a very like basic setup, punchline. And I'm not saying that she had punchlines. What I'm saying is that she had setups, and then the punchline would come immediately after that, and it would be like it would be a twist on what the setup was, you know. So it'd be like, I like to spread harmony and joy, and that's what I call my legs. Except for she added so many words. So she'd be like, I love to spread joy and cheer throughout the world and universe. And that is also joy and cheer, what I call my legs. That's what I call them. And it was just so awkward. And then at one point she goes, but seriously, everyone, which is like the go-to comedy class, like transition for a joke. Like go to an open mic at like a comedy, like a place that does comedy, stand-up comedy classes. Go to like what's that one in Burbank?
There's the Ha Cafe in Lancashire.
Yeah, the Ha Cafe. I'm performing there next week. No, I forgot the name of it. Anyways, there's a comedy club in Burbank that does stand-up comedy. Go to their like open mic where they have, or their
Flappers.
Go to their like graduation show. I guarantee you're going to hear people go, but on a serious note, but seriously, everybody. But hey, let's get serious for a second. Like, that's just such a basic. And I was just like, I literally had to pause it and be like, she said that? Yeah.
But seriously, like, I don't think she took a single comedy class. You're giving her too much credit, Lori. There was
I'm not saying she was.
There was nothing.
I'm not saying she was funny.
There was no structure.
She had.
Because don't you think a comedy class coach would have been like, okay, you're going to do this in Drag Race. Let me help you craft
I don't think
some
she
of these
told
jokes.
anybody. I mean, look, did you hear her talk about her comedy? She thinks she's like the next Bill Burr. Like, she thinks she's a fucking comedy genius.
What did she say?
She was like, She's
What
like,
did she say?
I get asked or something like how she was saying she's that's what she's known for is her stand-up comedy. So she has the hubris.
Maybe how bad it is. Like maybe she's like the William Hung of stand-up comedy.
Here's what I legitimately think happened. I think she took a comedy class. I think she invited her friends and family. I think she did well. And I think she took from that night that she's a comedy genius. And so then when she goes on RuPaul's Drag Race, which she's not ready for, she says, I'm going to do stand-up comedy because remember that one night I did so well. Well, you had your friends and family there and they didn't want you to suck. So.
All right. Well, now it's time to bring back my girls. Well, the public feed. All right. After the non-competing queens rate the other queens, the girls assemble onto the main stage to learn their fates. For the top 2 queens, the contestants voted Lexi Love and Crystal Envy as the top 2 queens of the week, forcing them to face off in a lip-sync battle for the win. The song Alter Ego by Doechii. Is that how you say her name?
I didn't know who she was.
After all was sung and done, Lexi Love was named the winner of the challenge. Next, isn't it after all was, I said sung and done. After all was sung and done. Next, we learned that Hormona Lisa was voted the bottom queen of the week, forcing her to face off against Acacia Forgot in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song Yes And by Ariana Grande. In the end, Acacia Forgot was told Shantae you stay, while Hormona Lisa was asked to sashay away. But wait! In a twist this season, the losing queen will get a chance to stay in the competition in a round of Badonkadunk. Here's how it works. The losing queen will pull one of 10 levers, and if they pull the right lever, Michelle Visage will be dropped into a tank of water. Hormona Lisa pulled lever 7, and it worked. She lived to see another day and earned another chance in the competition. Nathan Patrick Barton, let's start with you. Any final thoughts on the episode? Have all thoughts been shared?
I did laugh after Hormona was saved. And the queens were obviously pissed because that reduces their chances if they ever get eliminated. Yeah. And one of them, I can't remember who, was like, now we only have a 1 in 9 chance of being saved. What are the odds? I was like, bitch, you just said the odds. So I thought that was really fucking funny.
They're still 1 in 10. Why did they assume they're going to take away one of the levers?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, I was like, is this every week? But then they seem to know more about it than we do. So I don't really know.
Also, Akasha said, after all the work I did, and she's still, it's like, what did you do? You lip synced. Like, what?
She put a brush up her butt.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What did you, what do you mean all the work you did?
By the way, it's Lori. Everyone in the public feed, Lori came in for the bulk of the episode.
Hi.
I chose the word bulk on purpose. Lori, do you have any final thoughts on the episode or the Badonkadunk or anything like that? Nathan really gave his thoughts on the Badonkadunk in the beginning of the episode.
I will say this. I personally feel like they clearly know who the lever doesn't matter. They're going to choose who they want to save and who they don't. But I do give them kudos for doing it because when Star and I first saw that, we were like, there's no way that Michelle Visage is going to go in that water. And I don't even know if she knew she was going to go in that water because she clearly, after she came out of the water, was like, yeah, shit. Like, she was so pissed. So kudos to them for doing it.
By the way, Lori is part of the award-winning show, The Tea, which returns to Patreon this coming Wednesday. But what's this Wednesday? This Wednesday will be, hold on, today's the 12th, 13th, the 15th, but returns to the public feed on the 22nd of January. So January 22nd, The Tea returns to the public feed, returns to Patreon on January 15th. All right, any other thoughts? Nathan, any thoughts? Lori, can we call it a day there?
Well, now I'm just thinking that tank was quite big. And so, like, after the lip sync, were they, like, rolling it on to, like, side stage? And, like, the queen's like, well, I'm going home. There's not going to be any surprises. And it's like, there's a giant tank in this
that part is so stupid where they're like, oh, wait. And then, like, oh, yeah, they have to do a whole setup and everything. And would they be like, where's Michelle?
Why
is she in a one piece?
Why was she changing into a swimsuit backstage?
Yeah.
What was she doing?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17. So, for Lorian K. Roggenkamp, Nathan Patrick Brown, and myself.
Well, my tuck just popped, so that's my time. But seriously.
Thank you for listening to Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ+ content, support us over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. This podcast was produced by Luke Stamen. You can follow Nathan Brown over on Instagram at NathanBrown90. Follow Joe Batance on Instagram at Joe Batance. Special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters: April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Derek Byers, Doofus Maximus, E. Smith, Effie Wap, Emma, Phil Skit Pony, Blind Suki, Humble Pie, J. Thomas Plank, Kathy Zender, Katie Whitmire, Lauren Eckert, Lucy Carrasco, Luke Stamen, Mary S., Mike Yeager, Nikki Baker, Nikki Pettit, Polly, Poppy Woods, Ricardo Herrera, Runner Brandon, Sarah Yu, Tom Bombs, Travi Cosmos, and Troy Anderson. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.